At the age of 20, Russell thought he had nothing to lose. He'd give singing a go. It was to be hard graft, lasting almost 13 years, in the shadowy world of late nights, drunk punters, and with absolutely no job security.
It was a beans on toast scenario. You know, I was doing 1 or 2 nights a week at £50 a throw. There were plenty of occasions where I couldn't even afford to, you know, pay for the tax disc on my car. I couldn't afford to have my car maintained. You know, if I needed a new tyre for my car, it was like, you know, oh my God, where am I going to get the money from to buy this? I can't afford it. So I'm driving around on bald tyres on my car, which I don't recommend to anyone. But, you know, you lived. I mean, I literally lived on my last paycheck. You know, it wasn't like I had a few £1,000s in the bank. There were times where I actually, you know, I couldn't afford to pay my bills, and they mounted up.
His parents were worried that he'd made a big mistake. In the early days, they found they needed to help him out quite a lot.
There was nights that he didn't do gigs, so if he didn't do a gig, he didn't get paid. There wasn't any money to pay food or bills. It was a struggle for him. There was times he used to hide behind the couch if somebody come knocking for money and stuff like that. Couldn't pay his milk bill. Typical Russell.
And it wasn't just the money that was bad. The job itself could be soul-destroying.
When I first started out, I mean, I was singing in a lot of pubs that sometimes you get a group of 20, 30 guys out on a Friday night all drinking beer, and I'm singing Love on the Rocks and Elton John and Lionel Richie love songs to them. It's not going to be the easiest of environments to get by in. And it wasn't. You know, it was pretty tough.
But slowly and steadily, Russell began to make an impact. Those that saw him performing at this time remember him well.
The first time I met Russell was here. I'd never heard of Russell before he came here. What do I remember about him? I remember he was a pleasant lad. He was a great lad, actually. You know, he seemed to take to it straight away. You know, he wasn't nervous or nothing. He was a good singer, which we didn't get so many of Russells here. You know what I mean?
By 1992, Russell was 26 years old and was becoming an old hand at the club scene. It was now a steady enough job for him to have married and have a young child.
Summer was great because Blackpool, the summer season, everybody's at Blackpool. I did a lot of work there and I did really well. And then, of course, winter comes. Nobody goes to Blackpool, nobody's going to the club, and all of a sudden it's like, you know, you're ringing your agent every day, is there any work? Not at the moment. And then things started getting better towards the, you know, the sort of mid to late 90s, and I started getting regular income and things started picking up.
But just as a friend's suggestion to enter the karaoke contest changed his life, another suggestion, this time from a fan, would change Russell's life again.
Oh, you don't say cheese now, do you?
What do you say?
You say sex.
This is Lillian and Gerald Scholes.
Sex.
Sex of potatoes, sex of onions.
With their 2 friends and their granddaughter. Lillian used to work at the Lee Road Labour Club and was in charge of booking the entertainment. She was a big fan of the young Russell Watson and remembers fondly booking him to sing in the club.
That's the night he sang at Abbey Street there. 22nd of December 1996 it was. He did 3 40-minute spots, didn't he? 3 40-minute spots for £135. He didn't go through his agent, and then it wouldn't cost us as much, because if he'd have gone through his agent, he would have had, you know, he'd have had to pay his agent's fees, and he did it on his own without going through it. He always said he wanted to be a singer, but his wife didn't think anything of it until she heard him sing in a club one night, and his voice was amazing. See, I've kept these cuttings about him because I like him.
Although now part of Russell's global fan base, Lillian's husband Gerald played a crucial role in transforming Russell's career. Gerald spotted that Russell's voice had a potential beyond singing standard pop classics.
You were the man who asked him to sing Nestle Dormer, didn't you, Irene? Where he said Nestle Dormer.
Who?
No, when you asked him could he sing Nestle Dormer.
Nestle Dormer, is that you?
Yeah, that's him.
Well, don't tell anybody.
Don't tell him.
It's honest, I asked him to sing that.
He asked him.
Gerald had come across the song when watching the football, when it was used as the anthem to the 1990 World Cup. He thought it would suit Russell to a T.
Can't thou sing Nestle Dormer? That was his exact words, weren't it, love?
Oh, he had no accompaniment. I
Sing
think
it,
he had no tape to it.
A journal, not so long since about it. I don't know if you read it in our journal.
Leslie.
About if anybody knew the man who asked Russell Watts to sing this and she wanted to send it in. I said, you won't send that in at all.
Russell still recalls vividly the moment when Gerald made his suggestion, now almost 10 years ago.
Fateful evening as the cigarette smoke rose from the ashtrays. Gerald appeared through the mist with his slick-back grey hair, and he looked me in the face and said, "I tell you what, Russell, that were a smashing first spot tonight. Have you ever tried that Nesty Doormat by Pavarotti?" Pavarotti, yeah, that's it. Because I think it'd suit your voice right down to the ground. And of course it was Puccini's Nessun Dorma. And off I toddled to learn it parrot fashion. And the very first time that I sang it live was the very first time that I'd ever had a standing ovation.
Obviously, he sung his songs, and then when he was singing that, the opera thing, oh, he just brought the roof down, you know what I mean? He was that. I could tell because, I know it's a fun thing to say, but like, you can imagine people going to the bar for the drinks, and then suddenly when they heard this Nessun Dorma, they froze, as though they didn't want to go to the bar, or they stopped, stopped to listen, you know what I mean? He had them eating out of his hand. He did, honestly, eating out of his hand.
Although Russell had no knowledge of Italian, he'd memorised the words, and Nessun Dorma quickly became part of Russell's repertoire. And wherever he sang it, it stole the show. It became his signature tune. One night, after having sung it at a charity event here in the Midland Hotel in Manchester, 33-year-old Russell Watson got the break that would catapult him onto the world stage.
I was stood in the foyer of the Midland Hotel, and I was a tap on my shoulder. Stood in front of me was Martin Edwards, the chairman then of Manchester United. And he, I thought that was wonderful. Russell, would you like to come and sing for us at Old Trafford? I'll just go and check my diary.